It's interesting to hear that this council is irresponsible and don't care. Irresponsible, ladies and gentlemen, would to take this budget, have the staff work through this, council to come to the table 5 times, and hear from the experts, the people who make the wheels go round on this bus. Thank God every day, these people who tell us this is what we require and this is the best we can do. And here are the reasons why. Irresponsible would be to say, too bad, we're going to reduce that to half of that, and we'll look next year or the year after, or maybe leave it to another council to solve the issue. That, my friends, would be irresponsible. Being on council is about making tough decisions. The easy ones we can all make. So it's quite disheartening to hear that this council would be irresponsible to pass this budget. Half of this budget is due to the last council's decision to build their legacy in the Arena Library without funding from other levels of government. I can speak to this, ladies and gentlemen, because I sat on council as your mayor between 14 and 18. And we started the process. We took staff and members of the public, a committee, to other communities to look at arenas and libraries, to find out, to determine what would be best for our community. But what council said then was that we'll be prepared, we'll be ready, we know we need a new library, we know we need a new arena, but we are not going to move forward without funding from other levels of government because this community cannot afford it. You've heard it mentioned tonight by our CAO, and Councillor White referred to the city of North Bay. 50,000 people in that city. And their council, a few years back, needed to build a new library. They did their homework. They submitted their plan to the federal and provincial government, and they were denied funding. And that council said, like many councils in this province, 444 of us, said we cannot possibly afford a $50 million arena over a town or a city of 50,000 people. So they didn't move forward. What did they do? They went back. They worked harder. They strengthened their ask. And they went back and eventually got funding, and they built their arena. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. The council that Ms. Bray sits on, or sat on, didn't worry about that. They applied, didn't get it. 25,000 people, half of North Bay, and $10 million more of debt. We can handle it. We need our legacy. And they moved forward. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are paying that price. Now, I want to be clear. We need a new arena. We need a new library. Our citizens, our community deserves it. But at what cost? And to come before this council and accuse us of being irresponsible for now looking after your debt, your problem that you've created, that in itself is irresponsible. I see on social media, someone sends me a note today where a member of the past council says, when will the rhetoric stop? Well, that's a question, my friend, whoever put that up there, for you to answer. An experienced council, we continue to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, you have experience on this council. If Councillor Belanger has been on council now over 8 years. Myself with 4 years experience in the past. And then we have a new group, but of bright people who ran a solid campaign, and the people, you folks spoke loud and clear with a very clear mandate. And we take that very seriously, believe me. People are afraid to speak out. I have no idea where that comes from. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that staff every day get hundreds of calls. My office alone gets probably, between emails, text messages, and phone calls, 100 items a day. Believe me, I can assure you, people are not afraid to speak out. And tonight is a prime example of that. We've heard good, we've heard bad, and we've heard ugly. And this council is prepared to sit here and listen all night long, because we do care about what you say. But there are only certain things that we have control over. But fiscal responsibility, we are charged with, and we are committed to. I hear reduced hours for staff. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, and you probably already know this, but the last term of council, we've seen 82 members of staff leave this corporation. 61%. Now, I'd fall on the sword any day for the people that work in this town. We have the best of the best. And they work hard. And so why, you have to ask yourself, did we lose 82 employees in 4 years? I'll tell you why. Mismanagement and working people to the point where they break. This town has worked extremely lean for far too many years. I run a business. I never want to increase the costs of running the business. And I treat this municipality like I would treat my own business. And nor do we want to increase the costs to you, the shareholder. But we cannot continue to have staff, good quality people, going to other municipalities because they just can't take the pace and work as hard as they do. And I will tell you that the people I'm looking at in front of me here today, and many others, most of them went through the last 4 years that lean. The cost to replace a staff member on average in the corporate world is about 30% of their salary. So if the average salary at the town of Wasaga Beach is $75,000, 30% of that, it works out to about $1.8 million, the cost just to replace those 82 staff. Never mind the time that is lost, never mind the work that didn't get done, and the fact that we're so far behind in so many things because of it. These are costs that some people don't want to speak to, that are built into this budget to try and fix and recoup, and most of all, keep and retain good quality people. But we don't want to talk about that. We just want to talk about how fiscally irresponsible this council is for making tough decisions. An in-house council, this is a luxury that we don't need. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to look at our budgets, to look at our costs every year, and look at how much money your municipality spends on legal costs. And we fully believe, and this has been realized with other municipalities, that to bring an in-house general counsel will absolutely save tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars as we move forward. Bad things happen if we don't watch what this council's doing. Well, I have to agree. Bad things do happen if you don't watch what council's doing. We learned that in the last term of council. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry. I apologize. But there comes a time where you listen to the rhetoric long enough, and it's time to correct the record. So I could go on and on and on, but we don't have a bar here. But here's what I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you will not see this council do, that you've seen the last council do. You will not see this council get a property appraised for $3.5 million and pay $5.8 million for it. You will not see this council get an appraised value on your beachfront lands, the most precious lands we own, of $9 million more than we sell it to a developer for. Now, don't take my word for this, ladies and gentlemen. This will all become public record, believe me. You will not see this council sell your business park lands to a developer for the assessed value of the property of about $1.3 million versus the appraised value, which I believe was low, at $8 million. And you take a $5.5 million loss. You will not see this council destroy tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of public records a week before the new council is sworn in. You won't see this council do that. Not now and not ever. And when the next election comes and you have an opportunity to go to the poll, and whatever that election brings, I will tell you that you will see clearly whether these people are sitting at this table or these folks are sitting at those tables, that there will be no destruction of public records. To what end? So if I seem angry, I am. I didn't start out that way, but there's only so much that an individual can withstand, and it's important that you have this information. So to the people who want to come forward from previous councils or from the public who may be their supporters and accuse this council this early at being irresponsible, unjust, not caring, I suggest you look back at the past. Again, I apologize for my rant, but I think it was necessary to get this information out. Again, I want to thank you all for being here and for paying attention. There's lots to come, I'm sure. This council is fully aware, ladies and gentlemen, of the challenges we face. We do not like a budget over 8%, but I will tell you this, last thing. When you take the 4.5% of the arena costs out of this budget, our budget's about 4%. And if you look around the county, the country, you will see that we are right in line with most municipalities. I can tell you that Tiny Township passed a budget last week, I believe, about 10.8%. There have been lots of municipalities in that 4, 5, and 6% range. So, I thank you for your time. I wish you a good evening, and this meeting is adjourned.